Shalom, shalom, family. This is Blessed by Yah, and today we're going to talk a little bit about true and false charity. So, once again, we're going to be coming out of our Third Testament, Spirit of Truth, and we are going to be in chapter 18. Okay, and so charity. What is charity? And so, charity is used to translate the Greek word agape, which is often rendered as love in modern translations. But we know that charity is not only about, just our love for the Father, but also our love for our neighbors, as it is demonstrated by Yeshua in not only his teachings, but his actions, right? And so when we think of charity, it's not only just, acts of giving, but it should also be the foundation of our very way of being, right? And how we relate to others. So let's look at 1 Corinthians 13. Paul describes charity has an high exalt or high status of charity. And he says charity is a pure love that excels and exceeds almost all things, right? Starting at verse 1, and he says, Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, and I have not charity, I have become as sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I could remove mountains and have not charity, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, and have not charity, it profiteth me nothing. Charity suffereth long, and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vanketh not itself. It is not puffed up, doeth not behave itself unseemingly, seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil, rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in the truth. It beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. Charity never fails, but whether there be prophecy, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away. Moroni 7:43. It says again, Behold, I say unto you, that he cannot have faith and hope, save he shall be meek and lowly of heart. If so, his faith and hope is vain. For none is acceptable before God, save the meek and the lowly in heart. And if a man be meek and have not charity, he is nothing. Wherefore, he must needs have charity. And charity suffereth long, and is kind, and envieth not, and is not puffed up, or self-seeking, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil, and rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in the truth. It beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, and endureth all things. Now let's get started. We're in the Third Testament, chapter 18, and we're starting with verse 1. And it says, Observe all kinds of human misery, pain, needless, and let your heart become more and more compassionate at the sight of the pain that surrounds you everywhere. If you feel in your innermost part of your being a generous and noble urge to do good, let this impulse overflow and manifest itself. It is the Spirit who communicates his message because he has found his body willing and ready. Be careful that the activity of charity comes first among your aspirations, and never regret having been charitable. For by this virtue you will have the greatest satisfaction and happiness of your existence, and at the same time obtain all the wisdom, strength, and exaltation that every noble spirit craves. By mercy towards your fellow men, you will purify your spirit, and in this way settle old debts. You will enable your human life and uplift your spiritual life. When you then once reach the gate at which all of you will once knock, your bliss will be very great, because you will hear the call of welcome which the spirit world will offer you, which will bless you and call you to the work of renewal and spiritualization. I say to you, blessed are those of my workers who are able to feel in their hearts the suffering of those who have lost their freedom or health, and who visit and comfort them. For one day they will meet again in this life or another, and you do not know whether they will not have. Salakia. For one day they will meet again in this life or another, and you do not know whether they will not then have more health, more freedom, and more light than those who brought them the message of love in a prison or a hospital. So it's saying that you may meet them again. They may be down now and you encourage them, and you may meet them again and they be up and you be in a difficult place. Okay? Then they will show their gratitude and reach out their hand to the one who gave it to them at another time. That moment when you brought my word near to their hearts, that moment when your hand was stroking their forehead and you made them think of me and feel me, when never before erased, will never be erased from their spirit, any more than your face and your brotherly voice will be forgotten in their mind, which is why they will recognize you wherever you are. As the wind and the sun caresses you, so shall you caress your neighbor, my people. This is the time when the needy are abundant. Understand that he who asks you for a favor, listen to this, family. Understand that he who asks you for a favor grants you the grace to be useful to others and to work for your salvation. He gives you the opportunity to be merciful and thereby become like your Father. For man is born to sow the seed of goodness over the world. Understand then that whoever asks you for a favor, Nephi 12 and 42. Give to him that asketh thee, and from him that will borrow of thee, turn them not away. Matthew 5 and 42. And it says, if thou hast that which thou can give, then give to him that asketh of thee. And from him that would borrow of thee, turn not him away, lest he esteem thee as an enemy. Let's look at Luke 6 and 30. Give to every man that asketh of thee, and of him that taketh away thy goods, ask them not again. And as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. For if ye love them which love you, what thank have ye? For sinners also love those that love them. So he's saying, what reward is there in that if you just love those who love you? And if you do good to them which do good to you, what reward have ye? For sinners also do even the same. And if ye lend to them whom ye hope to receive, and if you lend to them who you hope to receive, what thank have you? For sinners also lend to sinners and receive much again. So it's like you're giving, if you give something and then you're expecting that same amount or that same thing back from them. But love ye your enemies and do good and lend, hoping for nothing again. And your reward shall be great, and ye shall be the children of the highest. For he is kind unto the unthankful and the evil. So he's saying in true charity, you want to do good for the sake of doing good because it's the foundation of who you are. And not doing good or giving compliments or helping people or encouraging people, just hoping to get that back or to get something from them. Okay? Verse 9. O disciples, your highest task will be the work of love. Often you will do it in secret. Often you will do it in secret without boasting, without letting the left hand know what the right hand has done. But there will be occasions when your activity of love will be seen by your fellow men, so that they may learn to participate in it. Matthew 6:1, and it says, And it came to pass that as Yeshua taught his disciples, he said unto them, Teach this people, saying, Take heed that ye do not your alms before men to be seen of them, and receive the honor and praise of the world. Otherwise ye have no need for a reward of your Father which is in heaven, which he shall give unto you, not as the honors of men are given, but by the peace of his Spirit. Therefore, when thou doest thy alms, do not sound a trumpet before thee, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, that they may have the glory of men. Verily I say unto you, they have their reward, for it is given them of men from whom they desire it. But when thou doest thy alms, let not thy left hand know what the right hand doeth. For if thou givest of unrighteousness by that which thou doest with thy left hand to receive the glory of men, then thy righteous act which thou doest of thy right shall not be accountable as a righteous offering to the Father. For thou doest not do this thing for the benefit of another, as thou would want another to do so to thee, but thou doest this to be seen and rewarded openly by men. Family, looking for the glories and honors of men can be a dangerous thing. Okay? The sealed portion, chapter 22:32. Behold, the Lord hath commanded us, saying, Give to him that asketh of thee, and from him that would borrow of thee, turn they not away. And if you charge usury to him that would borrow of thee, then ye shall have your reward in the usury that you have charged. And this reward shall be according to the reward of Satan, whom you serve, and you shall be miserable like unto him. Verily, verily, I say unto you, that I would that you should do alms unto the poor, but take heed that you do not your alms before men to be seen of them. Otherwise, you have no reward of your Father, whom is in heaven. Therefore, when he shall do your alms, do not make an announcement before you, as shall the hypocrites do in the churches and in the streets, that they may have glory of men. Verily I say unto you, they have their reward. But when you doeth alms, let not the left hand know what the right hand doeth, that thine alms may be in secret, and thy Father who seeth in secret himself shall reward thee openly. Okay, let's go back to the 3rd Testament 18, and we're on verse 10. And it says, be unconcerned about the reward. Be unconcerned about the reward. I am the Father who rewards the works of his children with righteousness, without forgetting a single one. And let's go quickly back to the sealed portion, chapter 22 and 42. And it says, and ye shall receive the fruits of the Spirit as your reward. And ye shall receive the fruits of the Spirit as your reward. Do you hear that, family? And see that ye are not deceived because of the rewards of the flesh that are received by those who disregard the commandments of God. For many of you have thought that the Father rewardeth his children with the things of this earth. But he doeth not reward his children with the things of this earth. For the whole earth is the reward of those who love him and keep his commandments. Let's return now to the Third Testament, chapter 18, verse 11. And it says, I have told you that if you will give a glass of water with true love, it will not go unrewarded. Blessed are those who say to me, when they come to me, Lord, as a reward for my works, I expect nothing. It is enough for me to be alive and know that I am your child. And already my spirit is filled with happiness. False charity. Verse 13. Do not indulge in self-desire, thinking only of your spiritualization and your reward. For your disappointment will be very painful when you enter the spiritual, because you will discover that you have not really earned a reward. Let's look at Luke 6 and 34. And it says, and if ye lend to them of whom you hope to receive, what thank has thee? For sinners also lend to sinners, and received as much again. But love ye your enemies, and do good, and lend, hoping for nothing again. And your reward shall be great, and ye shall be the children of the highest. For he is kind unto the unthankful and the evil. Verse 14. We're going back to I'm jumping around here a bit, family, because there's some things I know it sounds like I'm repeating, but I'm giving you precepts from different places because I want these things to resonate in your spirit. Now we're going back to the Third Testament 18, and we're on verse 14. And it says, so that you may better understand what I want to tell you, I give you the following example. There are and always have been men and women who took it upon themselves to do charitable works among their fellow men. And yet, when they came to me, they could not show me any merit for their spiritual happiness. What was the reason for this? Can you imagine that they were victims of an injustice on the part of their Father? The answer is simple, disciples. They could not reap any good for themselves because their works were not sincere. For when they stretched out their hand to give something, they never did so out of the true sense of mercy towards him who suffers, but thinking of themselves and of their salvation and their reward. Some were motivated by self-interest, others by vanity, and this is not true mercy, for it was neither felt nor selfless. I tell you that he who has no sincerity and love in himself does not sow the truth and does not earn a reward. Excuse me. Now let's look at I'm in the sealed portion, but I'm reading Matthew 7:22. And it says, "And the Son of Man shall come to judge each man according to the way that he have treated his fellow man." I'm going to read that again. "And the Son of Man shall come to judge each man according to the way that he has treated his fellow man. And at that day, many will say to me, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name, and taught the people the things that they should do to be saved in thy name? And in thy name have we not cast out devils? And in thy name have we not done many wonderful works that glorify thee? And then I will profess unto them, I never knew you. For I did not require any of these things at your hand. And the glory that ye gave unto me was that glory that you sought for yourselves." Did you hear that, family? People will do things out of self-seeking glory, is what he's saying. Self-seeking glory. He says, and the glory that you gave to me was the glory that you sought for yourselves. For there is but one God, and him only did I command that you should glorify by keeping his commandments. And him only did I command that ye should glorify by keeping his commandments. And this ye should have done, and not left the other undone. Even that which I command you to do, you did not do. For behold, I command that ye should love one another. I command that ye should love one another, and that you should do unto one that which you would have him do unto you. And of these things you did none. Therefore, depart from me, ye that work iniquity. It's going to be a sad time, family. A sad time for people who are seeking self-glory or doing the work of the Father, but truly seeking in their heart that glory for themselves, to be lifted up by men or women or their peers or, other people, or for any other reason, but for the glory of the Father and for the true love or pure love in their heart and compassion for others. Let's go back to the 3rd Testament, chapter 18, and we're now on verse 15. And it says, obvious charity can give you many satisfactions on earth, which come from the admiration you arouse and the adulation you receive. Now, adulation is extreme or excessive praise or admiration or flattery. So it's like you're looking for that praise and adoration and flattery constantly from people, okay? But the apparent does not enter my kingdom. There only the truth reaches. Where only the truth reaches. There you will all go without being able to hide the slightest defilement or unfairness. For before you can appear before God, you will have laid aside the gala cloaks, crowns, insignias, titles, and everything that belongs to this world, to appear before the highest judge as simple spirit beings who give account before the Creator for the task that has been entrusted to them. I'm going to read that again. For before you can appear before God, you will have laid aside the gala cloaks, the crowns, insignias, titles, and everything that belongs to the world, to appear before the highest judge as simple spirit beings who give account before the Creator for the task that has been entrusted to them. Whoever would like to be useful to his neighbor out of the love devotes himself to goodness in any of the many ways that life offers. He knows that he is a human being who should find himself ready to be used by the divine will for very high purposes. I want you, O disciples, to gain knowledge so that you may free from their errors those who have lost the way of ascension. True love, that which goes beyond the human feelings of the heart, is the fruit of wisdom. See how I sow wisdom in your imagination, in my words, and after that I expect the fruits of your love. There are many ways to do good, many ways to comfort and serve. All are expressions of love, which is one love, which is wisdom of the Spirit. Let's look at Mark 10:21, and it says, Then Yeshua, beholding him, loved him, and said unto him, One thing thou lackest, go thy way, and sell whatsoever thou hast, and give to the poor, and thou shalt have treasures in heaven. And come, take up your cross, and follow me. That's hard for some people, because a lot of people not going to want to give up the things of the world, right? Let's look at Moroni 7:46. And it says, Wherefore, my beloved brethren, if you have not charity, ye are nothing. For charity never faileth. Wherefore, cleave unto charity, which is the greatest of all. For all things must fail. But charity is the pure love of Yeshua, and it endureth forever. And whosoever is found possessed of it at the last day, it shall be well with him. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, pray unto the Father with all the energy of heart, that ye may be filled with this love, which he hath bestowed upon all who are true followers of his Son, Yeshua Christ, that ye may become the sons of God, that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is, for we shall see him as he is, that we may have this hope, that we may be purified even as he is pure. Amen. The thing is, family, here, for we shall see him as he is. And I know I said this before, these books of remembrance have so enlightened me in so many ways, have given so much wisdom. And one of the things that it talks about, and I said this in another video, is seeing the Father as he is. And so before I mentioned it, but I'm going to take you back there. We're going to go into the book of remembrance of Melchizedek, and we're going to go to chapter 1, and we're going to read verse 47, because I truly want you to hear this as it is written, not me just saying it, but I want you to hear it as it is written. And it says, And the voice said, In the beginning was God, and God is good, and his goodness was before me. I was astonished and held my breath, and the voice continued, Man in his fallen state does not think of God as God is, but leans towards viewing God as man is, and sees God only as the God of man. But God has the ability to penetrate this blindness and reveal himself to man, so that man can see God as God is. And I began to see God as God is. Bear in mind, I was not looking at the bodily image of God, nor did it seem like I was seeing some characteristic of God, or that I was being shown something about him. What was before me was simply God, but I was in his presence, and I was actually with my eyes and ears and soul seeing the goodness of God. Not a vengeful God, but the goodness of God. And it was like what I was seeing was God, and my soul was engulfed in it, almost to the point of it overpowering me. And before me was everything kind and sweet and gentle and innocent and mild and harmless. And all of these things I know are the goodness of God and that which he would say. So nothing that the Father could see. Did you hear that? It said everything. He was engulfed in this. And everything that he saw was what? It was kind. It was sweet. It was gentle. It was innocent. It was mild. It was harmless. It was peace, family. It was peace. 51. And the myth of the wrath of God vanished from me like a puff of smoke in a rushing wind. God is so infinitely good that absolutely nothing he would say would arise out of anger or hate or vengeance, nor could any of his words be threatening. All such speech is utterly out of existence in his presence. And any such expression attributed to God are a falsehood. Let's look at 1 Thessalonians 5:8. And it says, but let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, and for a helmet the hope of salvation. For God hath not appointed us to wrath, but to obtain salvation by our Lord Yeshua Christ, who died for us, that whether we wake or sleep, we should live together with him. Let's skip down to 14. And it says, now we exhort you, brethren, warn them that are unruly, comfort the feeble-minded, support the weak, be patient towards all men, see that none render evil for evil unto any man, but ever follow that which is good. Follow that which is good, both among yourselves and all men. Let's look at Isaiah 1:4. And it says, O sinful nation, ye are a people laden with iniquity, and your children, the seed of your flesh, are corrupt, and all of them are evildoers. Yea, have all forsaken the Lord, and have come backward away from him. Ye have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger, and his wrath is that he is no longer with you. And his wrath is that he is no longer with you. Anoka seed is no longer with you. Let's go quickly to the book of remembrance of 2nd Achi, chapter 6 and verse 45. And it says, for in man there can also be 4 spirits of life. There can be the spirit of God, or the spirit of Anoka seed, the spirit of the Messiah, and the spirit of the vision of created purpose of each soul, which is the spirit of the soul as it is seen through the eyes of the Father. And there is also the spirit of life that gives to that person. Let's look at the Third Testament, chapter 41 and 46. And it says, then ye shall know the life of your spirit, who it is and who it was, recognizing yourself without reference to such petty limits as those that correspond to your material form. For the Father says to you, Though your material form is in reality small, your spirit greatly resembles my own divine spirit. And let's go back to the book of remembrance, 2nd TTT I, 6:48. And it says, my children, when you sin, you have accomplished an act that makes you unlike the Spirit of God in you. So when we sin, it makes us unlike the Father. And what did it say? Let me go back and recap. Isaiah 1 says that the wrath of God is that the Father is no longer with you, right? And so we know we have 4 spirits of life. One of those spirits of God, one of those spirits is the Spirit of God, the Spirit of the Messiah, the Spirit of our created purpose, and the Spirit of life, right? So when we sin, let's go back to where we are, what it says. What did it say about when we sin? It says, when you sin, you have accomplished an act that makes you unlike the Spirit of God in you. And you also become unlike the spirit of your natural self. That's how he sees us, which is seen in your vision of created purpose. And the Father only desires to conceive of you in the way you are in your natural self. Therefore, when you become unlike both these spirits in you, the only spirit that remains in a condition for you to be in harmony with are the Spirit that gives you life and the Messiah who can forgive your sins and bring you back to the Father, right? Let's look at 50. And it says, and when your spirit is alien to God and to your natural self, you indeed are void and empty to hear both the Spirit that speaks to love you and the Spirit within you that is able to listen. And this is the void. When it says that the Father is no longer with you, that is his wrath. And this is the void that troubles your heart when the Spirit of God withdraws from you to be less than that which you are accustomed to receiving in the pleasantness of your daily walk. Family. You can also find this in the book of remembrance of Melchizedek, chapter 3, which gives you more wisdom about the 4 spirits of life. Get these books of remembrance of Melchizedek. Our Father Anoka seed, which means I am loving kindness. He is love. It is the very foundation and the essence of who he is, right? So I just gave you that. 2nd TTT, Book of Remembrance of 2nd TTT, chapter 6. Book of Remembrance, Melchizedek, chapter 3. Get those books. Read it, family. Let's go back to the 3rd Testament, chapter 18. And we are now in verse 19. And it says, some may walk in the way of science, some in the way of the Spirit, some in feelings. But the totality of all will result in spiritual harmony. Let's look at the 3rd Testament real quick, 45 and 16. And it says, humanity, your destiny is to be in harmony with all that is created. This harmony of which I speak to you is the greatest of all laws, for in it you find perfect communion with God and his works. Let's go back to chapter 18, and we're going to pick up at verse 20. And it says, if you are materially poor and for this reason cannot help your neighbor, do not grieve. Pray, and I will cause that where there is nothing, light will shine and peace will come. True love of neighbor, from which compassion is born, is the best gift you can give to those in need. If in giving a coin, a loaf of bread, or a glass of water, you do not have the feeling of love for your fellow man, verily I say to you, then you have given nothing. It would have been better for you not to part with what you have. 1 Corinthians 13:3. And it says, this is what Paul had said. We read it earlier. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, and have not charity or love, it prevaileth me nothing. Let's look at the Third Testament, 62 and 61. And it says, those words you cannot understand now are precisely those that those people will understand. Believes and acts without fanaticism. Raise and place yourselves on a level from which you can instruct all your fellow men without regards to creeds or teachings. Do not hesitate to do good to a needy person just because he has the backward or imperfect worship of God. Rather, let your selfless work conquer his heart. Do not close yourself off in groups, and thus do not restrict your field of activity. Be a light to every spirit and a balm in every tribulation. If your fellow man speaks contemptuously or scornful, that word means scornful, or just has disdain when he speaks to you, of you, because you have followed my call, close your ears and keep silent. They are ignorant. But if you should take this matter as an occasion to judge, woe betide yourself. So it's woe unto you, he's saying, for you are already enlightened by the light and your conscience, and know what you are doing. So what he's saying is, somebody get upset with you because what you believe or what you're trying to tell them, they don't want to hear it, or they're mean or rude or whatever it is. It says close your ears and ignore them because they are ignorant, meaning they don't know no better. And he says, but you, if you take the opportunity to judge them, then woe unto you because you know better. Okay? So let's remember that. And so I want to read this story from ancient grandmothers. I want to read some from ancient grandmothers. Let me just keep moving. And it says, therefore, my people, do not desire that all men should think and believe as you do. You must never condemn men. You must never pass judgment or impose a punishment on him who does not listen to you, who does not accept your suggestions, your teachings, or your advice. You must regard all your fellow men with the same deep respect and with true spiritual charity. Then you will learn that in the practice of this religion, in his teachings, in his way, everyone has reached the place to which his spiritual capacity has given him the right, and to the point where you see men, their own development has led them. Okay, I think I am going to go back. Let's go back really quick. I want to read this because after reading that, talking about contemptuous, if people speak to you or are mean to you, talk to you in a contemptuous way. And so it says, render not evil for evil. And so I want to read this. I want to read this in Ancient Grandmothers really quick. Naturally, I don't have this right here, so I have to pull it up. Give me 1 second. We're going to go to the Book of Remembrance of Ancient Grandmothers, and we're going to go to chapter 10. Let me see if I can do this quickly. Y'all can hang with me a little bit longer, can't you? I know y'all can. I always say that, right? Let's see, chapter 10. Chapter 10, verse 54. Let's see if I can find it quickly. Family, if you don't have these books of remembrance, I encourage you. There's so much wisdom here. I can't even tell you. There's so many things that I just didn't realize, that I truly didn't understand until I really started getting into this word. I'm almost there, y'all. Wait a minute. Okay, so I want to read you this we're in the Book of Remembrance of Ancient Grandmothers. And we're going to, in chapter 10, and we're going to start at 54, and we're going to read down to 61. And I just want you to meditate on what is happening here. And we're going to be talking about Noah, and this is young Noah. And I want you to just meditate. This was before the flood, and I just want you to meditate on what is actually happening here and how he reacts, and how his love that he showed towards, the love that he showed in this situation, how it changed things. And it says, starting at 54, and it says, and I marveled at the kind of a man Noah was becoming as he grew into manhood. And in my heart, I desired to learn more about him. And I began to see him grow and walking in the way near his encampment. And overlooking his pathway from above are a band of brigands. And brigands are like robbers. They robbers and looters and killers or whatever. And it says, and they descended down to stand in his way. And they contended together as to who among them would have his cloak and which one his staff. So they're going to rob him. And all the while Noah is standing still. And then he sat upon the ground and laid his staff down beside him. And it was clear he did not intend to fight with them. And his head was covered with the cloth that came down over his shoulders. And one among the brigands, who seemed prominent, said, come, let us kill him and be off. And one of them pulled the covering off his head. And Noah smiled and looked up with compassion upon them. And when they beheld him to be white, and his eyes shone like fire, they shrank back in fear, and they fled away from him. And Noah wept because of their fear and sin. And so we know that Noah had light eyes and light skin, and they hadn't seen that before. So they ran. They was like, oh, who is this? Let's get out of here. 56. And the young man who had uncovered his head lingered in the shadows behind the others to watch Noah. And Noah hailed him and motioned for him to come and sit near him on the ground. And the man approached him slowly and stood a ways off. And he was very thin, and his clothing was in shreds and was filthy. And Noah did not look directly upon him, but gazed upon the ground and asked him how his family fared. Listen to this. Noah asked him how his family fared. And the young man sat down and said that he had no family and had been alone without kindred all his days. And Noah said, have you eaten? And the man said he was faint for want of food. And Noah arose and bid the brigand to come to eat with him. And when they arrived at the camp, Botan cooked bread for him with fish, and he was refreshed. And thus she ministered to him and brought refreshing to his spirit. And she served him food he had never seen before. And in all these things, his fear began to diminish. And he lay down and slept. And he remained to visit for some days. And he was given a new cloak. And he bathed in the river. And when he thought he was to leave, Noah prayed over him that when he thought he was to leave. Now keep in mind now, this is the people that was going to rob him and kill him and take his cloak right? And so he says, and when he thought he was to leave, Noah prayed over him that he would come to have kindred and be blessed to overcome his loneliness. And Lamech gave him a name, and it was Yasha, because of the compassion of the Lord that could rescue him to happiness. And because of these acts of love, Yasha asked if he could dwell among them, and the people considered the matter. And it was determined that he could stay if he learned to work in the gardens. And Lamech gave him a bowl to eat with, and Yasha was completely taken in by the love of the people. He was completely taken in by the love, the charity of the people. And it came to pass that Phut and Avid came by in their travels, and they took him with them. And it was reported that he found his rightful rib. And they had his rightful rib, for those that don't know, is he found him a wife. And they had come to have many daughters who dearly loved their father. Think about this, y'all. He was a robber. He was out there doing wrong. Now he was a killer. And let's look at the transformation through love and charity. And it says, and they doted upon him with much tenderness of heart. And thus I was shown that Noah grew to be a man overflowing with compassion, and he was confident and without fear. And it was the wisdom of his mother and the forgiving spirit of his grandmother that enabled him to be raised up unto the Lord this way, seeing he was different than those around him in his appearance and in his acts of righteousness. Now y'all can't tell me that didn't touch y'all spirit. Now look, let's go. I'm going to skip down to 69. I'm going to read this verse, and then we're going to go back to the Third Testament. Okay, and it says, verse 69. And it says, and after those days, many of the encampments of the righteousness kept the divisions of days with their feasts and blessings for Anochasi, which they represented. And Lamech began to zealously exercise those holy order of service after the manner of Abara, and he taught repentance. And he was gentle and tender-hearted, and he rejoiced when he heard that Yasha now had a family. For word had come soon after his departure with Phut that a band of brigands, listen to this family, that a band of brigands had been searching for him to take vengeance on him for his having departed away from him. Now this was the group of guys that he was with, that he left, right? The group of brigands that he was with, and they was looking for him to take revenge on him. And it says they were looking for him to take revenge on him. And it says, but when the brigands beheld him and his family to be in rich happiness, many of them abandoned their masters and began to travel with the people of Arvada. Did y'all hear that, family? Can you see how your charity and your love can transform? You know, the love of the Father can transform situations. Man, I tell you, all praises, glory, and honor to the Most High. Now let's go back to the Third Testament. We're almost done here. We're in the Third Testament 18, and we're on verse 67. And it says, already now I tell you that you are no more than anyone else, that the faith you have nourished, namely to be a people of favored beings, is an error. For the Creator in his perfect love for all his creations favors no one. I tell you this because tomorrow you are to present to your fellow men the teachings I have brought to you in this time. And I do not want you to appear among your descendants as higher beings, nor should it seem that merit made you worthy to be the only ones who heard my word. You shall be understanding. You shall be understanding. You shall be understanding, humble, simple, noble, and merciful brothers and sisters. You shall be strong, but not arrogant, lest you humiliate the weak. If you have great knowledge of my teachings, you should never boast. If you have great knowledge of my teachings, you should never boast of your knowledge, so that your fellow men beside you may not feel inferior. Even here among my workers, now many are there who, without having understood my teachings, consider themselves to be higher beings, worthy of admiration and homage, when they knew that they were endowed with a gift of the Spirit. For this I ask you, whether you can approve that a superior spirit imagines something of his gift, when humility and charity are the essential qualities he must have. Remember that once I said to you, I did not create you so that you might be like parasites. I do not want you to be content to do no harm to anyone. I do not want you to be content to do no harm to anyone. So he don't want you to be content with just that. I want you to find your satisfaction in having done good. Man, anyone who does not do good, although he could do good, has done more evil than one who, because he was unable to do good, confined himself to doing evil because it was the only thing he knew how to do. Let's go back to the Third Testament, chapter 18. Chapter 18, verse 22. When will you, O mankind, know the power of love? Until today, you have never made use of that power which is the origin of life. See not enemies, but brethren in all that surround you. Demand punishment for no one. Be lenient, that you may set an example of forgiveness, and that no remorse may arise in your spirit. Close your lips and let me judge your case. Heal the sick, restore reason to the confused, drive out the spirit that clouds the mind, and make sure I lost my place, family. And make sure that both regain the light that they have lost. Disciples, the principle which I taught you in the second age, to love one another, is the applicable to all actions of your life. Some say to me, Master, how can I love my neighbor, since I am an insignificant being whose life is filled with physical labor? To those my child, I say, even in this physical work, which is apparently without meaning, you can love your neighbor if you do your work with the desire to serve your fellow men. Imagine how beautiful your life would be. Your life would be if every man worked with the thought of doing good and of uniting his small effort with that of another. Verily I say unto you, there would then be no more misery. But the truth is that every man works for himself, thinking of himself, and at most still of his own. You must all know that no one can be enough for himself. You must all know that no one can be enough for himself, and that he needs the others. All of you must know that you are deeply bound to a universal mission which you are to accomplish together, but not united by earthly obligations, but by attitude, by inspiration and ideals, in a word, by the love for one another. The fruit will then be for the good of all. I tell you, disciples, in my law of love, that if you cannot do perfect works like those I did in Yeshua, at least make an effort in your lives to come near to them. It is enough for me to see a little goodwill to emulate me, and a little love for your neighbor, and already I stand by you and reveal my grace and my power in your way. You will never be alone in the struggle, since I do not leave you alone when you are oppressed by the burden of your sins. Do you believe that I leave you when you go your way under the burden of the cross of this mission of love? Wow. The comprehensive meaning of love. Let me see how far we have to go, family. Okay, we don't have much more. Hang with me. We almost there. The comprehensive meaning of love. We're in the 3rd Testament 18, and we're on verse 32. And it says, at all times my teaching has made it clear to you that her innermost being is love. Love is the essence of God. Love is the essence of God. From this power, all things draw to life. From it, life and all creation sprang. Love is the source and the goal and the destiny of all that was created by the Father. Let me read that again. Love is the source and the goal in the destiny of all that was created by the Father. In the face of that power that moves, illuminates, and enlivens all things, death disappears, sin fades away, passions pass away, impurities are washed away, and all that is imperfect is perfected. I have revealed to you my being and the reason for yours. I have revealed to you that the fire that gives life, the fire that gives life and animates everything is love. It is the origin from which all forms of life have come forth. See, you are born of love. You exist out of love. You find forgiveness out of love, and you will be out of love in eternity. Love is the origin and the reason for your existence, O human beings. How could you live without this gift? Believe me, there are many who carry death in themselves, and others who are sick just because they love no one. The healing balm that has saved many has been love, and the divine gift that raises to true life, that redeems and lifts up, is also love. Love is the one who does not love. The one who does not love carries a deep sadness in himself, not to possess, not to feel the most beautiful and highest thing in life. This is what Yeshua taught you with his life and with his death, and what he bequeathed to you in his divine words. Summarize the sentence, love one another with that love which I have given you. The day will come when those who have not love will free themselves from their bitterness and prejudice. Come and rest with me, where they will return to life when they hear my loving word of infinite tenderness. Verily I tell you, in love lies my strength, my wisdom, and my truth. It is like an immeasurable long ladder of steps which manifests itself in different forms from the lower human beings to the highest spirits who have reached perfection. Love, even if it is in your way, but love always. Do not hate, for hatred leaves a death trap behind. While you forgive yourself out of love, and all grudges are extinguished, I tell you, he who does not reveal his love in the highest form and with absolute sincerity does not love. He will have no true knowledge and will possess very little. But he who loves with all his spirit and all the powers given to him will carry within himself the light of wisdom and feel that he is in reality the owner of all that surrounds him. For what the Father possesses is also the property of his children. Love will give you wisdom and understanding, and understand the truth which others seek in vain on a bumpy path of science. Allow the Master to guide you in all actions, words, and thoughts. Prepare yourselves according to his kind and loving example when you will reveal divine love. In this way, you will feel close to the Father because you will be in harmony with him. If you love, you will be able to be gentle as Yeshua was. He that loves understands that he learns. He that loves understands. He that learns possesses will. He that has will is able to do many things. I tell you, he who does not love with all the power of the Spirit will have neither spiritual exhortation nor wisdom, nor will he do great works. Do not let your heart be imagined for its symbolism. Forgive me, family. Do not let your heart be imagined, for it symbolizes the fire of eternity of him from whom all things came forth, and where all things are revived. The Spirit uses the heart to love by means of the body. The Spirit uses the heart to love by means of the body. If you love only according to the law of matter, your love will be transitory or temporary because it is limited. But if you love spiritually, that feeling is like that of the Father, who is, and we talked about that early on with those 4 spirits, right? Those 4 spirits of life, right? He who is eternal, perfect, and changeless. All life and all created things are related to the Spirit because he possesses eternal life. Do not limit yourselves. Love me and love yourselves because you possess that God spark. You possess that God spark of being which knows no limits in loving, which is God himself. Climb up the path that leads you to the top of the mountain, and with every step you take, you will better understand my teachings and become more and more perfect in the interpretation of the divine message. What is the language of the Spirit? What is the language of the Spirit? It is love. Love is the universal language of all spirits. Do you not see that human love also speaks? Often it needs no words. It speaks better by deeds, by thoughts. If human love already expressed itself in this way, how will its language be only when you perfect yourself in my law? When you consider that I am wisdom, that wisdom springs from love. When you recognize me as judge, that jurisdiction is based on love. When you consider me as powerful, my power is based on love. If you know that I am eternal, my eternity comes from love, because this is the life, and life makes the spirit immortal. Love is light, is life and knowledge, and this seed I have given you since the beginning of times, the only one I have sown as a perfect farmer in the field that are your hearts. The higher power of love, O man and woman of the world. O man and woman of the world, who have forgotten in your science the only thing that can make you wise and happy. You have forgotten the love that inspires all things, the love that can do everything and transform everything. You live in the midst of pain and darkness, for by not participating, but by not practicing, the love that I teach you, you cause your physical and spiritual suffering. To discover and understand my message, you must first be kind and gentle from your heart, virtues that are present in every spirit from the moment of its creation. But to feel the true high sensation of love, you must spiritualize by cultivating your good sensations. But you have wanted everything in life except spiritual love. But you have wanted everything in life except spiritual love. At all times, you have had leaders who have taught you the power of love. They were your more advanced brethren, with greater knowledge of my law and greater purity in their works. They gave you an example of strength, love, humility, as they exchanged their lives of aberration and sins for an existence dedicated to goodness, sacrifice, and active charity. Family, I'm trying to get this finished. I'm sorry. I don't want to keep you all too long, but we only have a little more left. From childhood to old age, you have been clear examples of all that can be achieved with love, and of the suffering caused by the lack of charity. But you, more callous than the rocks, have not been able to learn from the teachings and examples that daily life gives you. Have you ever observed how even the predators respond gently to the call of love? In the same way, the elements, the forces of nature can react. Everything that exists in material and the spiritual world. Therefore, I tell you to bless everything with love. In the name of the Father and Creator of the universe. To bless means to saturate. It's saying saturate everything with love. Blessing is to feel the good, to say it and pass it on. Blessing is to imbue or inspire all that surrounds you with the thoughts of love. Verily I say to you, love is unchanging power that moves the universe. Love is the origin of the meaning of life. I am now initiating a time of spiritual resurrection for all, a time in which I will make blossom that blessed seed of love, which I pour out on the world from the height of a cross, announcing to you that when men love one another as I taught you, death would be taken out of the world, and in its place life would rule over men and manifest itself in all their works. Family, thank you so much for hanging with me. I love you all so much. I pray that this reading blesses your spirit as it did mine. Until next time, thank you again so much. Have a wonderful day. I love you and shalom.